What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Work Knife Balance. We got a sweet knife we're going to be going into. Another knife from our Blade Show 2023 haul, just diving in a little bit further on this one. And this has very much been called Knife of the Year by a couple of reviewers on YouTube. And after getting in my hands, I'm going to say it's a really strong contender, although I'm pretty sure I know who my Knife of the Year is going to be for 2023. Without further ado, let's dive into this. Just want to go ahead and say thank you to anyone who's already liked and subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. And you can find us on Instagram at WorkKnifeBalance939. Alright, so let's get into this. This is, yes, very much so, the Null Knives right here. So if you don't know what I'm unboxing here, you probably haven't seen the other video, but this is going to be the Null Knives Voodoo that we're getting into. So there's our certificate of authenticity that comes with this. It's the Voodoo number 534. I got the acid wash blade, blue micarta, and satin hardware. The birth date on this one is August 1st of 2023. So when I first saw this, immediately on a couple other channels, I was drawn to the aesthetics of this knife. This thing is, it looks mean, it looks nasty, it looks, I really, really like the way it looks. You can't really go wrong with some of the things that they're doing here, but it definitely stands out in a good way. When I got it, opened it up, I've already had the action. Absolutely amazing action. That thumb flick there is absolutely butter off of those triangular shaped thumb studs with the milling on them. The detail that they did into this knife put in here is absolutely amazing. And then you even have that deep triangular fuller in the blade as well, which if you want, you can get a little lower in here and finger flick out the backside, which is absolutely beautiful. Blade shape is kind of a harpoon clip point, and I really love that. There's not much else I would say that you could call it. It's got a really nice little clip point to it at the front end there, as well as kind of that harpoon shape to it. So it's a very kind of straight-edged harpoon clip point to it. It's beautiful. I don't know what they actually called it, but that's what I'm going to call it as I put it through here. The action on the knife, the weight on the knife, everything, ergos on the knife are absolutely phenomenal. You can choke up really easy. You can have it in hand lower, fantastic as well. And then any sort of reverse grip that you put in here, because it's got a big knife with a little knot at the end here, the way it kind of narrows and then thickens near the end, you can really kind of hold in and get your hand in that knot. Feel like you have a secure grip on this knife. It is going to be a larger knife. It's going to be a little bit bigger in stature. It's not necessarily going to be the most compact carry, but it fits in pocket really well, and you don't have to worry about it because it's not too thick. It is going to be a titanium frame bolster lock-ish because the way that they have those scales coming up on the other side right there, but you've got really nice access to that lock. And then they actually did some, let's see if we can get a view of it here. Lighting is a little off. You can kind of see it in there. There's actually some milling in that, just the detail that they put in there, some milling in there. So it's not just a hard edge, but it's actually chamfered with some milling, so it makes it super comfortable to whip out. The jimping is absolutely phenomenal. Gotta stop saying absolutely. The jimping is ridiculously phenomenal. It's really nice jimping through and through, and we're sitting on M390 steel. So you got the M390 right there, which is beautiful to see. We'll go ahead and do some measurements on this, and then we'll do some side-by-side comparisons. Tip to tail, we're looking about 8 1/4 inches. The overall blade length, we're looking just over 3.5 with a cutting edge of about 3.45. 3.5. Yeah. So you've got a really decent sized blade there. I would say it's a full size knife. Not a big knife, not a compact knife, but definitely a good full size knife. Really nice sharpening choil that you can choke up on there. Kind of a 50-50 choil. You can see it coming over to the actual scale in itself, but it makes for a beautiful hold in the knife and how it works there. So side-by-side comparisons, we'll go ahead and pull out the Ontarios real quick. We got the Rat 1 and the Rat 2. Putting that up next to the Ontario Rat 1. Pretty close in size comparison. Rat 1 still has a little bit on it, I think, on the handle and on the blade. Just slightly, but that's going to be a really close size comparison. And then the Rat 2, clearly smaller than the Voodoo there. as we go through, we'll go ahead and get the Spyderco's out for this one right here as well. The pair of 2 and the pair of 3. So you've got good size comparison. I think that rat one is probably going to be the closest size comparison though that we can look at for that one. Yeah, so is it worth Knife of the Year, and is it worth that title? Some people are going to say yes, some people are going to say no. This particular version with just the micarta scales and the titanium, this is going to be the least expensive version that they have out there for it, but it's the version that actually spoke most to me. The color scheme, I have a lot of carbon fiber in my collection now, so I wanted some micarta. I've really been digging on micarta recently. It's a softer material in my opinion, kind of weathers a little bit better, and has a little bit better resistance to the elements, just in my opinion, than the carbon fiber, and I think most people would agree on that as well. So yeah, so I've been digging on that, and you know, after having this for a couple weeks now, and being able to carry it a little bit and have it in hand and mess around with it, I would say you know, it is a very, very close call on whether or not this will be my Knife of the Year. We've got about 2 months left in the year to make any last minute additions to the collection for Knife of the Year and anything that may pop out during that time. My top 3 contenders right now for Knife of the Year, this is probably in the contention with that, but let's see, I have the other one in my pocket right now, and it's going to be the Kaiser Veritas, and then the third one for Knife of the Year for me, and I'm using it as a 2023 knife. I don't know when it'll actually be released, but this is when I got it, obviously, is going to be the Pena Paramour. So those are my top 3 contenders for Knife of the Year right now. We'll see if the Stout makes it in, the new Devo Stout V2 makes it in 2023, because that's going to be a pretty good competitor for that as well. But these are probably my top 3, and I would say they all have different things about them that put them to the top of the list for me. This in itself is probably the most hardy knife of the collection of those 3 that I would hold to that cake right there. It is a good price point for what you get. It comes sub 400, which is really nice. I don't remember the price right off the top of my head, and we'll probably try and put a link below. Any of the links below that are Amazon, just as we're talking about them right now, do support our channel, and we thank you for that support. Anything else really doesn't support our channel. It's just there for you to find cool knives to mess around with and add to your collection. But this is the hardiest knife of the collection. It has some of the best aesthetics to it as well, and the detail, as we've talked about, that they put into this knife, the detail that they put into look at the pivot itself. There's milling on the pivot that is just absolutely beautiful. The way that they contoured these scales through chamfers on themselves as well, and even the back spacer has some really nice arrows that kind of mimic themselves all the way down and crunch down to a tiny little, what looks like almost a heart at the end there. But still, the detail that they put into this knife is absolutely amazing, keeping the milled clip off of the spacer. If this was an open lock here, that would be completely off the open lock, so you don't have to worry about that. The way that they put the effort into milling those thumb studs as well, those thumb triangles, almost makes it like a thumb disc. So it gives you kind of the illusion of a disc with the functionality of a stud a little bit more, which is really nice too. And then even the harpoon style blade that they put on it right here with the swedge that comes over down the top right here, it's very well done. There's not a lot of things that there's really nothing that I would change about this knife in itself. Perfectly centered as it came in, amazing action. This is, yeah, probably one of the hardiest knives. The one thing that I would say draws me to the others over is this is a little bit larger knife for my style of carry. I like to have 3.2, 3 to 3.2 in size is usually where I'm at for my blade length. And that's just because I like smaller knives in my pocket. I like something that's going to disappear. I don't necessarily carry a lot of large knives. And so with that, I don't need necessarily a 3.5 inch blade length. But with this being a larger blade, it does disappear and feel like a smaller knife. It's not heavy, it's not bulky, although it does have that hardy feel to it. So I'm excited to see what happens throughout the rest of the year. I'm excited to see how we shape out the knife community through 2023 and really where all the votes start going for knife of the year there. I love the way that kind of like actuates. It sounds almost like a revolver kind of hitting set instinct. The acoustics, not aesthetics, the acoustics of this knife are another thing that is absolutely beautiful. Just, I don't know if you can hear that as well through the video, but yeah, I absolutely love the way this knife sounds. It's definitely one of the more fidgety knives that I have because of that. And one of the knives that I get in trouble with at night because as kids are coming to bed, it is definitely a louder knife to mess with, but so nice. Yeah, you can hear it. All right, don't have much else for you. Go ahead and please, if you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Until next time, TTFN. Thank you.